Hey there, Star Wars fans. Damn, I had a difficult time rating this episode. In fact, as I was making this video, I was watching the chapter a second time. It has everything you could want in a Mandalorian episode, and then some. And yet, I had mixed feelings. Let's begin then. We start the episode off with stunning visuals of the Mandalorian landing with the target, the young member of Yoda's race. Bringing him back to the one who commissioned the bounty, he receives a veritable mountain of Beskar steel, of which he goes to the Mandalorian Enclave and has it fashioned into a new set of armor. I won't go through the entire scene in detail, but it's odd that they mention their helmets never being allowed to be removed when he went to the Enclave. For one, that has never been the case for Mandalorians in general. It wasn't the case for Jango Fett, and we only ever saw Boba ready for combat. Plus, there's the question of how is it they eat or drink anything at all. Although I will say that whether or not I think making never removing helmets a part of the Mandalorian culture, I do not ever want to see the Mandalorian in this show to take his helmet off. Ever. Any episode that has that in there will drop like 80 points for me out of 100. Pedro Pascal is a great actor for this character, but if I see Pedro Pascal's face on this show, I will go ballistic. If we wanted to see his face, we would watch Game of Thrones or Narcos. We're watching The Mandalorian, and this guy doesn't even have a name after 3 goddamn episodes. We can maybe learn his name at some point. But God help Disney if we see his face, because it'd be like the Master Chief taking his helmet off, and we seeing his entire face. It's not like that Halo 4 teaser where we saw his eyes. I mean like his entire face. It'd be like that. It's just, you don't do that, you know? Anyway, the Mandalorian cannot help but shake the feeling of protectiveness toward the young Yoda. I don't know why. There was no real obvious reason. He's not supposed to care. The way you do it in a gray morality show like this is have something that we or the main character learns that makes young Yoda valuable to the main character, so if nothing else, he has an excuse to go and save the other character. But if he's learned nothing new and there's no benefit or excuse here, then why? He just did it. I'm not saying I wouldn't. I would like to think that given the opportunity to save an innocent, I would do it, particularly if I had the capability. But the Mandalorian isn't that kind of character from what we have been shown. I mean, he's been protective of it, but it's always because of, as I said, the excuse of him needing to get the bounty back alive. Although, and here's where I don't think this is a game breaker though, they did show the Mandalorian have frequent flashbacks to what we assume are his parents carrying an infant version of himself through a Clone Wars warzone, and it shows the loss he felt at losing them. He could easily be projecting these feelings onto the infant Yoda and use that as his reaction, and reason. Plus the fact that the other Mandalorians do not like this, small remnant of the Empire being there. These two add-ons give enough evidence to perhaps justify him breaking the bounty hunting code and endangering his life. Perhaps. I think it's good enough. I'd like more reason, but I think it's good enough. Either way, it happened, and while I might have been iffy on the why, I loved watching it happen. When he assaults the Imperial compound, he kills 12 stormtroopers and knocks out 2. Though the 2 he knocked out might have regained their feet and been one of the ones he's killed. Every kill was well choreographed, and there was also a neat shot he made that had the sound of a spaghetti western bullet shot. Like this. He then makes an impressive escape past a lot of bounty hunters and thugs. Again, very impressed with the choreography and the visuals. He kills either 13 or 14 of them. It was difficult to see because 1 or 2 fell over without clearly being shot, so, The guild leader, played by Carl Weathers, while gruff, clearly didn't want the Mandalorian dead. Even after trying to get past him twice, he still gave him a chance. It was 3rd time's the charm when he confronted the Mandalorian in the ship, though. But the Mando got the better of him in that single instance, and it was the Beskar steel that he had been paid with in his jacket that saved Carl Weathers' character's life. Also, when the Mandalorian was saved by his fellow clanmates, I was very worried for a moment. I had thought some proto-rebellion had showed up to give exposition and make it all touchy-feely goody-two-shoes. I am so glad that it was the Mandalorians from earlier. fighting to protect their clanmate despite the fact that they would have to relocate their enclave. I'm not sure why the other Mandalorians said they would hold them off, particularly because from my point of view, they were wholesale slaughtering the thugs, not holding them off, but hey. And despite the fact that I gave a big, rant on, I was iffy on the why he did it, my only real problems happened at the end of the episode, for the episode. One, there was a Mandalorian flying beside our main Mandalorian ship with a jetpack. And in all my years of gaming, reading, and watching Star Wars, the Mandalorians, and everyone else for that matter, always used jump packs, not jetpacks. Perhaps maybe Jango Fett's pack was an exception, but he never uses it to fly far. This jetpack was flying beside a spaceship entering low orbit. That's fairly inaccurate. It should have just been a jump pack. My number 2 problem is that now it's open-ended. Our Mandalorian is no longer a bounty hunter, at least in that guild, and now we have no inkling of where he is going or what is going to happen. And you always want a small hint of what will occur next, Just a small one. Anyway, despite the little rants, absolutely great episode. 5 out of 5 again for me, honestly. Tell me what you guys think, if you agree or don't, and how you're liking the show and my reviews. Thanks, everyone.